Hello, this is John from Life Force Rejuvenation. This is just a precursor to the video I'm about to show about the paradigm shift. And what we're here is want to explain something. Hurt is an energy. Once we realize that it's just an energy, but if we put a label on it, it goes into the file and your mind records it and buries it deep down inside until you can bring it up to the surface, remove the label, feel the hurt, then the healing happens. That's the magic of this program. Hurt people, and healed people, heal people. So sit back, relax. It's about at least an hour long. It's required to go to the healing circle. Thank you. Peace around. Welcome to the paradigm shift. This is the introduction. How many people want change? Everybody wants change, but how many people want to change? Oh, geez. It's pretty scary when you get down to it. Okay, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his way, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make this world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change.
Do you want to know what it is? The matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
The copyright struck on that one. Okay, the red pill. We're going to talk about cognitive dissonance, a physiological phenomenon that refers to the discomfort felt at a discrepancy between what you already know or believe to be true and new information or interpretation of that information that contradicts that knowledge or belief. Cognitive dissonance. You bet. Cognitive dissonance refers to the psychological stress that occurs when a person holds two beliefs that contradict one another or behaviors that conflict with current held beliefs. It causes feelings of unease, tension, whereby the individual will attempt to relieve their discomfort by explaining things away. Or rejecting the new information that conflicts with their existing beliefs. Doesn't that sound familiar? This discomfort is triggered by a person's belief clashing with the new information presented, causing them to try to find a way to resolve the contradiction and reduce the discomfort. A prison for your mind. In social science, paradigm is used to describe the experience, beliefs, and values that affect the way an individual perceives reality and responds to that perception of reality. Another use of the word paradigm is worldview. What is a paradigm formed? How is a paradigm formed? Okay, so look at this. This is our current paradigm. All the money up here, all these people down here supporting it. You have this is a power over system. It's a slave system. You have the CEO, the vice presidents, the management, and the employees that's supporting the whole pyramid scheme. You have the few, you have the elite making all the money. You have all the employees making less and less and working harder and harder to support all these people. It's like the current system of Wall Street. Follow the money, the domination and control, people, planet, and all living things, and all the resources going up to the top. This is the power over system. You have the few, the elite. You have a barrier in which these people can't get to them because of the barrier, and they have their own barrier that keeps them separated from the masses. The power over system. You have the judges, the police, and the military that do things to everybody for all the resources that go up to the elite. This is our current reality. Take a good look at that. This is the yin and yang going backwards. And the end result is going to be total destruction. Should have happened a long time ago, but who knows. So we go for the paradigm shift. Social science used the phrase paradigm shift to denote a change in how a given society goes about organizing and understanding reality. The historian of science may be tempted to exclaim that when paradigm change, the world itself changes with them. Here's a shift in consciousness. This man sees 4, while this man sees 3. It's the change in perspective. Right back in astronomy, you have geocentrism. Everything revolved around the Earth. And then somebody came along with a telescope and figured out heliocentrism, where everything rotated around the sun. That was a change in perspective. Back in the old days, we didn't know why all this got all these people sick, because we didn't know about this, the germ. Same with aeronautics. Until we figured out how wings worked, we were doomed to fail in aerodynamics. So now we go to the paradigm shift. How is a paradigm formed? A group of scientists placed 5 monkeys in a cage, and in the middle, a ladder with bananas on top. Every time a monkey went up the ladder, the scientists soaked the rest of the monkeys with cold water. After a while, every time a monkey went up the ladder, the others beat up the one on the ladder. After some time, no monkeys dared to go up the ladder, regardless of the temptation. Scientists then decided to substitute one of the monkeys. The first thing this new monkey did was go up the ladder. Immediately, the other monkeys beat him up. After several beatings, the new member learned not to climb the ladder, even though he never knew why. The second monkey was substituted and the same occurred. The first monkey participated in the beating, and the second monkey and the third monkey was changed, and the same thing was repeated, beating. The fourth was substituted and the beating was repeated, and finally the fifth monkey was replaced. What was left was a group of 5 monkeys that, even though never received a cold shower, continued to beat any monkey who attempted to climb the ladder. If it was possible to ask the monkeys, why would you beat up all those who attempted to go up the ladder, I bet you the answer would be, I don't know, that was how things are done around here. Does that sound familiar? Effed up. Okay, for the shift in consciousness, we have the slave system, the power over system, into the circle, where everyone has a voice, everyone is a human being, everybody is equal. What a concept. The change in perspective. Here we got mass confusion, lying, cheating, and stealing each other, to this one into a harmonious balance of holacracy. Look that word up, holacracy. It's about all the cells, all the individuals taking care of the, is that the body head, the good head? Or we'll get to that later. The new reality. From the old shift to the new shift, where all is supported by each and every individual. How do we get there? We get from this horrible outcome to this beautiful nirvana, awesome society. How do we do that? We have the power over system. We have where everyone does things to each other. You have the CEOs doing things to the management, the management does things to the employees. It's terrible because the power and wealth flow upward. All these people down here do things for the elite while they're doing things to, we're doing for all the resources to flow up to the top. It's a power over system. It's an oppressive system. It's a slave system. Hurt people hurt people. These people hurt these people by doing things to them. And these people hurt these people so that they do things for them. They're labeling. They're becoming objects and things. Over here in the circle, everyone's a human being. Everybody supports everybody. And all the resources flow into the center of the circle. And what people need, they pull out, and just what they need. Also, people, they don't have to be messed with. They have the right to not be with people. And the people with people are the healed people. The power with. It's a natural system. It's the universal system. Healed people heal people. What a concept. We're all human beings. We have the right to be treated as human beings. Nobody wants to be told what to do. Nobody wants to do things for all these people above them. We want to be in a natural, universal system. We're switching over to the power with. By how? With the relationships. Healing. with relationship. Hurt people hurt people. What? Here's how it works. You have the individuals, the elite who have the barrier, who do things to these people, makes them unhappy because they have to do things to people down here that makes them miserable. It hurts them. These people do everything to these people, and these people do everything for them. They're the privileged, they're the elite. A special right, advantage, or immunity granted or available to particular persons or group. That's the privilege. And these are the oppressed people. They do everything for the elite because they're being oppressed. They're miserable. Prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment or control. That's the definition of oppression. The privilege oppress the people below them, and they use it by the police, the judges, the military. All the resources flow upward. They don't stay down here where they belong. Hurt, nature's teacher. Here we go. Hurt is a feeling or emotion we experience when something happens that shouldn't happen. It literally means don't do that. It's an automatic and instinctual emotion response to wrongdoing. If you feel the hurt, it heals, it goes away, and you learn the lesson. Or you refuse to feel the hurt by repressing, covering it up with another emotion or a label when it cannot heal, where it cannot heal, and will never go away because you bury it with a label. There it stays inside of you, causing you to hurt yourself and others. Worse yet, you fail to learn the lesson it's trying to teach you. Now, healed people heal people. Now, when a circle is formed, we have to get these hurt people, heal them so they can come inside the circle, because you don't want hurt people coming here unaffected, because they'll destroy the circle. The feeling of hurt is healing. Hurt and healing are opposite sides of the same coin. You cannot have one without the other. If you refuse to feel the feeling of hurt, then it's impossible for you to heal. Hurt people hurt people. On the other hand, wherever you do feel the feelings of hurt, you are healing at some level. Healed people heal people. Since the feeling of hurt teaches us not to do that, every time it's felt, the lesson associated with it is learned at some level. Never have to do it again. Okay, in review, we have the power over system, the oppressive slave system, labeling of objects, the hurt people hurt people. We have the relationship window, where people do things to us, so we have to do things for them. We want to be with people heal, the power with, the natural, the universal system. This is our relationship window. Control goes up. People do things to us, so we do things for them. But in the paradigm shift, it's about support, being with people, being with human beings. To be not with people is to be left alone. The 2 quadrant, the high control, the low support, the authoritarian, the punitive, stigmatizing people as objects to be managed, blaming them. The brain state is anxious, vigilant. Pick 3 people you have authority over. Who are they and what are their labels? Now the 4 quadrant, being permissive, excusing, reasoning. People as objects of need. It's a recurring thing. The brain state is passive enabled. Pick 3 people that have authority over you. Who are they? What are their labels? The not quadrant. It's low control, low support, being uninvolved, detached. You can ignore them because they want to be left alone. They don't have to be with you, or they're not with you. They can be indifferent. The brain state, reactive and defensive. Pick one of the people from the previous exercise and imagine them as a complete stranger. The with quadrant has high control and high support. You can be authoritative. They're connected. We're trusted. People as subjects to be honored. A human being. Collaborative. The brain state is relaxed and alertness. Pick one of those people in the previous exercise and imagine them as just a human being. What's the value of a human being? The individual is the most precious and valuable entity in existence. There is nothing of greater potential or more importance than an individual human being. The law of non-interference. Non-interference is the most important spiritual law in the universe. This is the spiritual law of harmony. Interference is deliberately trying to control another's life. If everyone honored the spiritual law, there would be no disharmony between individuals. If everyone honored this spiritual law, there would be no disharmony between individuals. What a concept. The principle of non-aggression, being all equal and independent. No one ought to harm another in his life, health, liberty, or possessions. Every man is free to do which he wills, provided he infringes not the equal freedom of any other man. The only purpose for which power can be rightfully exercised over any member of civilized community against his will is to prevent harm to others. The precondition of a civilized society is the bearing of physical force from social relationship. In a socialized society, force may be only used in retaliation and only against those who initiate its use. The Neo-Tech Constitution. The purpose of human life is to prepare and live happily. The function of society is to protect those conditions that let all individuals achieve prosperity and happiness. Those conditions can be delivered by a constitution that prohibits the use of initiatory force or concern by any person, group, or government against any individual. The Neo-Tech Constitution, Article 1. No person, group of persons, or government may initiate force, threat of force, or fraud against a person or property of any individual. Article 2. Force may be morally and legally used only in defense against those who violate Article 1. Article 3. No exception shall ever exist to Article 1 or 2. The disease of mysticism. Mysticism is defined as any mental or physical attempt to recreate, evade, or alter reality through dishonesty, relationships, non sequiturs, emotions, deception, or force. Any attempt to use the mind to create reality rather than to identify and interrogate reality. Neo-cheating is defined as any intentional use of mysticism designed to create mind, realities, or false illusions in order to extract values from others. Neo-cheating is a technique of exporting unearned money or power by manipulating mysticism in others. Neo-cheating is the means by which all politicians, clergymen, union leaders, many journalists, many academics, and most lawyers assert power and values for the innocent producers. Business. Business is a competitive development production and get my head out of the way. Business is the competitive development, production, and marketing of values that benefits others. Any and every aspect of business succeeds to the extent that effort, thinking, planning, and action, and free mysticism, or fails to intent that mysticism is injected into any decision. Business ultimately flourishes in the absence of mysticism or dies in the presence of mysticism. Mysticism is the creating of problems where none exist. Business is the solving of problems wherever they do exist. Mysticism represents stagnation and death. Business represents growth and life. Mysticism is non-business. Business is neo-mysticism. How about the business of people? Business people create values through intellectual efforts involving the widest range of integration of facts and knowledge. Successful growing business always require honest, long-term planning combined with constant interrogation of time with effort. Few people have any ideal or appreciation for the concept, hard driving effort, and difficult interrogations required for a businessman to create and maintain honest, value-producing jobs for others. Moral. The meaning of moral in Neotech is simple and direct. Whatever is consciously done to help fill human biological needs is good and moral. The productive action of honest people. Whatever is consciously done to harm or prevent the filling of human biological needs is bad and immoral. Hence, the destructive action of mystics and neo-cheaters. Integrated thinking. Integrated thinking is a conscious effort of putting information into accurate content by logically and honestly connecting all relevant knowledge. All valid and powerful knowledge is contextual. Thus, genuine power is gained through integrated thinking used to obtain the widest possible range of contextual knowledge. Integrated thinking delivers unbeatable advantages. Restorative. Restore. Return to its original or usable and functioning condition. To bring into existence or use, reestablish. To bring back to an original or normal condition. To place in a former position or location. To bring back to health, good spirit, etc. To bring back to a state of health, soundness, or vigor. Practices. To practice. To do or perform habitually or customarily, to make a habit of. That's what I'm trying to do. To do or perform something repeatedly in order to achieve or polish a skill. To give lesson or repeated instruction. To drill. To work at, especially as a profession. To carry out in action, observe. To do or perform something habitually or repeatedly. A habitual or customary action or way of doing something. Humane. Characterized by tenderness, compassion, and sympathy for other beings, especially for the suffering or distressed. Marked or motivated by concern with an alleviation of suffering. Civilized, having a high state of culture and development, both social and technological. Kind, compassionate, good, kindly, understanding, gentle, forgiving, tender, mild, sympathetic, charitable, benign, non non-violent, lentith, mischieful, good-natured, forbearing, kind-hearted. Need to go back to practice. Inhumane, lacking humility, kindness, compassion, cruel to animals, brutal, cruel, savage, brutal, severe, harsh, grim, unkind, heartless, unsympathetic, hellish, depraved, barbarous, pitiless, unfeeling, and uncompassionate. Unfeeling, non-sympathetic, savage, not suited for human beings, not human, lacking kindness, pity, or compassion, cruel or indifferent, not suited for human needs, not of ordinary human nature, form, or character. Cruel, savage, brutal, vicious, ruthless, barbaric, heartless, malicious, diabolical, cold-blooded, remorselessness, barbarous, fiendish, pitilessness, unfeeling, bestial. Okay, restorative practices. What does it comprise of? It comprises of restorative circles, restorative conferences, family group relation conference, healing sessions, workshops, training, coaching, consulting, community support, holacracy. I love holacracy. Oh my God, that's what we need. Professional learning groups, implementation, and webinars. This is what we're about here. Restorative practice. It has a whole field of restoring people, places, and things. Okay, this is our overview. For a limited time and space, focus on a few fundamental principles of restorative practices, like 2-day IIRP training, or 1-day follow-up workshops, weekly communicative circles, paradigm shift, defining restorative, history of restorative justice, social discipline windows, the fundamental hypothesis, restoring justice topology, restorative practices, continuum, the 9 effects, the compass of shame, fair process, effective language, and restorative questions. This is the overview of what we're achieving here. But today, the paradigm shift, defining restorative, the history of restorative justice, social discipline windows, the fundamental hypothesis, and restorative justice typology, restorative practice and continuum, the 9 effects, the compass of shame, crazy thing, fair process, effective language, and restorative questions. Remember, we are an oppressive society. We're in a slave society. The few, the elite, the powerful do things to us. And they have these people that do things for them to bring all the resources up to the top. The few, the elite, they have a barrier. These people do things for them because they're doing things to them. And these people have to do things for them. It's the power over system. It's the hurt people hurt. To bring all the resources up to the top. All of them. The many give up all the resources. The social discipline window. The control, the low support, or with restorative, there's high control and there's high support. The relationship window, Expectations for being human is high when you're with people. The support for being human is high because people are subjects to be honored. To be with people, people as subjects to be honored. That is it in a nutshell. Thank you for bearing with me and the practice that I get to do with you and me helps restore and become with you. Thank you.